Michelle, still no one in custody at this time, and we do know that police have responded to that place a number of times in the past for reports of large gatherings, cars packing the road, and plenty of noise. This chaotic turn of events this morning in a city that's already dealing with a surge in homicides. This alleyway, the scene of a deadly overnight shooting. Detectives with Tacoma Police searching for clues and a killer. The scene near 36th and East McKinley. It's where one man was found dead and 3 others ended up in the hospital.
Well, what I heard was people yelling, and then I heard shots, and everybody ran to their cars and took off.
Police say it started inside up on that top floor, a makeshift illegal nightclub of sorts. Lights can be seen through the blocked off windows. It ended in that alleyway, more windows spray painted over, a sign at that door warning of guns inside.
At this time, I have no suspect information to release. No one has been taken into custody in relation to this crime.
On the bottom floor next to that gym, this dark building. That's where police say the parties used to take place. The business had its license suspended by the city just last month. As for the neighborhood, more than a handful of people say the sound of gunfire is not unusual.
I always hear gunshots nearby, so it's nothing new. It's sad.
Well, guys, with that new UK variant, it makes it easier for the virus to spread. So add that on top of people gathering and cheering and screaming at a television. It could mean that all our positive progress could go in the opposite direction.
The biggest annual event in sports could potentially be one of the biggest super spreading events in the country.
We know this is a tradition to have a whole bunch of people yelling in the same room, but that's really too dangerous this year.
The Super Bowl is here, but the concerns stemming from the game is not the action on the gridiron.
It's the fans that are at more risk than the players on the field.
And that's why Dr. Jeff Duchin joined several health officials in saying parties this year aren't the way to go. Right now, the UK variant is circulating in our region, and doctors in our state are treating this like a holiday, which, as you can see, has led to cases spiking upward within a week's time.
Now is not the time to let up our guard.
Because Lacey Fehrenbach with the Department of Health says overall case rates are trending downward, but that could change if we choose to cheer and yell with people we don't live with.
The safest Super Bowl party you could have is one with your own household.
The Puget Sound and West regions are the only 2 in phase 2 of the governor's Healthy Washington plan. So while restaurants are open at 25% indoor capacity, if we come together with others we don't live with, we risk the chance of increasing the spread and causing those regions to revert back to phase 1.
Each and every one of our individual actions makes the difference.
So be cautious, stay safe, and enjoy the game.
With your help, we can protect the people we love, keep our COVID rates trending down, and keep saving more lives.
Mary, not all staff inside this QFC back here are currently eligible to get the vaccine. That's based on criteria set by the state. What they want is hazard pay for grocery workers throughout Washington because of the risks they face on the job every day. Kroger, which operates both Fred Meyer and QFC stores across Washington, will now start paying workers $100 after they've been vaccinated against COVID-19.
And I'm really pleased that Kroger has taken this step.
Maggie Brashears works at a Fred Meyer in Seattle's Greenwood neighborhood, where even customers recognize how easily the staff could be exposed to coronavirus.
You're in a lot of contact with people, and it's definitely risky contracting COVID.
A company spokesperson says the health and safety of our associates has been our top priority throughout the pandemic, which is why the vaccine payouts were approved. However, the problem is that many younger grocery store workers still don't meet the criteria set by the state to receive a vaccine. Yet, they still show up at work.
I only wish they were, as willing to sit down and talk about hazard pay.
Hazard pay totaling an extra $4 an hour is now available to grocery store workers in Seattle, but only because city council members passed a law temporarily requiring it. Unions representing grocery workers are now pushing for hazard pay to be extended statewide.
We'll take this to every single city, town, county, and even to the state level if we have to, but we'd prefer to have them meet us at the bargaining table.
Well, Well, Steve, we know that right now a majority of doses are going to those mass vaccination sites across the state, leaving some hospitals with a limited supply. And there is growing concern for those who are eligible in, say, more rural areas, that they just won't be able to make the trip to one of those, which means that getting more doses to those smaller providers is absolutely crucial. After a sluggish start to the vaccine rollout in Washington state, there's some hope that things are slowly improving. So far, the state has dished out nearly 834,000 shots, using up roughly 72% of all doses received. That breaks down to about 9% of the population with one shot and just over 2% with both.
It's a really challenging situation, not just for hospitals, but for all vaccine providers. I'd say across the board, nobody has the amount of vaccine that they want.
By the numbers, hospitals are now getting 23% of all doses, with 36% going to those mass vaccination sites. The changes leading to some canceled appointments by providers and frustration for those having to be rescheduled.
In some of our rural communities, the hospitals are the only provider of healthcare.
Cassie Sauer with the state's hospital association says there's also a renewed push to get those with their first shot that second one. The Department of Health is expecting a little more than 207,000 doses this coming week, roughly the same the next week, and then to round out February, a jump to 240,000. It's around that time many are optimistic that Johnson & Johnson, with its single-shot vaccine, will get the green light from the FDA.
Another vaccine is great news, another vaccine that seems to work well, it seems to be safe, and another vaccine, frankly, that is a little bit more rugged.
That's because it can be stored in a normal freezer, and the company is aiming to produce 100 million doses by June.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for checking out our YouTube page. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell from the KOMO weather team. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for additional news from the Seattle area and Western Washington. Oh, and don't forget to click the subscribe button below so you don't ever miss our YouTube updates.